What's going on, guys? Bart here with Tully Television. I want to thank all of you for stopping by, liking, subscribing, commenting, all that beautiful YouTube stuff. I hope that today is the day we earn that subscription. And if so, you let us know by hitting that red subscribe bar, comments, like. Even if you don't like what we're saying here or our opinions, you let us know down below. Because every interaction brings us closer to our goals of growing our community. Only together can we go straight to the moon, baby. The march to 300 subscribers continues, where we'll be giving away a comic book giveaway and a watch along to the movie 300, just to be a bunch of silly gooses here. And yeah, let's continue on what our review is of today. Ashoka Episode 5, written and directed by Dave Filoni, starring, of course, Rosario Dawson as Ashoka, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as General Hera Syndulla, David Tennant as the voice of Huyang, the robot, a droid, Evan Whitten as Jason Syndulla, the son of Hera, Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, and Paul Sun Young Lee as Captain Teva, and Ariana Greenblatt as young Ashoka in this episode. I'll get a little bit into my views on her in this series. I'm going to kind of break up. I'm not going to go so much in chronological order until like the end, so to speak, on how the show ends. I'm going to kind of just go with what each character was going through in this particular episode until the end. For General Hera Syndulla, she is trying to figure out what happens to Sabine and to Ashoka because she went against orders to go help them against Balin and their quest to find Grand Admiral Thrawn. Being she decided to go rogue, so to speak, with this, she took a squadron with her that was willing to bring forth some evidence about these Empire loyalists and their wants to bring back the Empire, especially through Grand Admiral Thrawn. As far as Balin and that crew right there and what happens to Sabine, we don't find out in this episode. We mainly concentrate on Ashoka and Hera and her little squadron there. So, as they're trying to figure out, as Hera and her squadron are trying to figure out what to do, because now the New Republic is sending, the Republic is sending a fleet to them to pick them up and kind of be like, what's going on there? Because even Mon Mothma is trying to say, do you have any evidence that I can help you with here? Because you guys kind of got yourself in a little bit of pickle and they're looking to take away your general status. And Hera's like, no, we don't have anything yet, and this and that. But her son Jason, who's the son of, his father was a Jedi, right, who had the child with Hera, and he seems to know that Ashoka is in the world between worlds, right? And she's having an interaction with Anakin down there. And he keeps insisting for her to listen to the water because he happens to hear a lightsaber battle going on. His connection to the Force seems to be strong. So that's why he was able to help locate Ashoka on where she wanted up floating away to, so to speak, in this instance. And so basically her and her squad kept doing rounds to try to find her until they were able to finally find her, and that's where I'm going to get into Ahsoka's part now, but thinking back on it, it's not that I don't like the Jason Sandala character. He seems to be a character that I'd be interested in seeing what he's doing now, because in the new trilogy he would be a bit older, you know what I mean? So I'd like to really see where his path has gone from this Ahsoka show, unless I'm confusing the timeline. No, I'm not confusing the timeline, because this is where the First Order starts forming. So yeah, I'd like to see where he's at in conjunction to where the new trilogy story was happening. Where was he? Where is he landed, so to speak? But I'm kind of surprised I don't hear more people saying that General Hera kind of endangered her son by bringing him on a dangerous mission. And I get maybe she didn't want to leave her son behind, or he was insistent on going, but I'm kind of surprised that she was willing to put her son in such a dangerous situation. And it's kind of, I don't know, maybe this is one of my nitpicks for the show, for this episode, is her ability to put her son into the line of danger, even though nothing happened, and even though she feels like she could have protected him in case anything came up. Why put him in that position in the first place? So I had found that to be a little concerning on that part. But then we pick up with Ahsoka. We're going to pick up with Ahsoka's part in this, where Anakin and her start interacting, and this is more of like a spiritual quest for Ahsoka. Anakin is gonna try to teach her one last lesson here, and it takes her a little while to learn, because immediately he's like, well, if you don't fight, you're gonna die, right? And he activates his lightsaber and goes after her, and they start dueling a little bit. So Anakin pretty much whomped her up in this interaction, and then she kind of remembers their first mission together, and this is where we pick up with young actress who plays Ahsoka, Ariana Greenblatt. I think she did really excellent in this part. The way she was able to handle her lightsabers and her fighting scenes looked really well. She looked really comfortable playing this character and portraying herself as a Padawan, learning from Anakin, one of the greatest Jedi/Sith around. And the whole premise of this time period was the fact that she didn't think it was right for them to lead men to their death in battle, because they're not sure if they're doing the right thing or not. And he tries to explain to her that the Jedi are about doing things on the good side, and even though there's a legacy of knowledge that was passed on from Master to Padawan, from Qui-Gon Jinn to Obi-Wan to Anakin, out to Ahsoka, and to other people that taught them before, Anakin has a new role in which he has to train Ahsoka as a soldier, where the other mentors didn't really have to do that for such a long time. So Anakin is trying to say, I'm doing my best here, to try to teach you how to survive in a war. And she says, well, I want to be more than a war. And he's like, well, you are. and I am too. I'm not just about let's slice people up, because at that point in Anakin's life, he was really about making the world a better place. Whether he was afraid of whatever the future may have held, he was about making the world a better place. And it was his own fears of losing his family because of losing his family before that turned him to the dark side. But for a long time, he really was about wanting to do the world to make the world a better place, the universe, the galaxy, right? A better place. And it took her a while to understand that good people make bad decisions, and it's even if it comes from a place of well-intentioned help, if you're not, if something happens bad, you have to kind of expect that to happen. We wish that everything we do will turn out for the best, but that's not always the case. And Ahsoka had to learn that instead of running from her issues, she had to run towards them and confront them. And Anakin had given her that last lesson, and she was able to fully realize what it was that Anakin was trying to do, who he was. And I liked how some of the scenes with the blast of wars and bombs and lasers, sometimes you'd see Anakin, and then sometimes you'd see him as Darth Vader and then switch back to Anakin. I liked that effect, where he'd be having his lightsaber as Anakin, and then as Darth Vader would turn red, right? She had to come to a resolution about her feelings towards Anakin, about the Jedi, and about herself even. And I thoroughly enjoyed this episode more than I did the previous two, because it was some good action, some good character development, and even with my little nitpicks here and there, I found this episode to be the best episode of the series so far, and I'm really hoping that they can continue this momentum that Anakin brought through interactions with Ray Stevenson and Ahsoka and Sabine, and seeing Ezra, maybe seeing Grand Admiral Thrawn. I'm assuming that's where kind of the last episode is going to accumulate into. So then General Syndulla finds Ahsoka with the help of Jason. One of my nitpicks is, if the Ahsoka was under the water so long, how was she able to survive? Because she was definitely in the water for a long time. So another little nitpick of mine. And then the fleet is coming. They want to bring them back in for questioning Hera and Ahsoka. But Ahsoka realizes that she has a plan to go to where Baylor and Sabine had went to, right? They're going to use these space whales to travel through the hyperspace because they have that ability on their own. So she decides to use one of these whales to travel to where she's hoping that Sabine and them went to, and Hera decides that she has to stay behind and answer some of these questions that are happening. And when the fleet comes, they are told about what the plan is, and they can't really do nothing because as these space whales are going, they're so big. They're as big as a battle, spaceship there. They're not going to be able to win any fights or whatever like that with these creatures. So Ahsoka and Hayang the droid. They enter their ship into into the biggest space whale, and they take off. And that's kind of where the episode ends. And Ahsoka's not too sure if they're going to wind up in the same space as Sabine and them, but that's the goal. She's going with her trust in the Force. And that's where this episode ends. I also don't know how she was able to stand on her ship as she was talking to one of the whale that transported them. She was standing on her ship talking to him. I mean, aren't winds so... this is going to be another nitpick. I would assume that the winds and the weather and the atmosphere up there would make her a little wobbly up there. But no, she's just chilling, standing there like la-di-da, la-di-da, outside of a spaceship. Like, how many thousands of feet up in the air, and no atmosphere is bothering her or whatever like that. She's not shaky, there's no wind, no nothing. Especially with all these space whales going by her, right? I don't know. Nitpick, nerd alert. But yeah, no, I think that I give this episode a solid 8 overall. Again, I love how visually it looks. I thought the acting in this was pretty decent. And, you know, just the interactions with everybody I thought was pretty decent overall. Again, one of my favorite episodes of the season so far. I want you guys to tell me what your favorite part of the episode or series has been so far yourself. And that's it. Until next time, peace, Snickums.